let's go to work. Ezekiel chapter number 37. Ezekiel chapter number 37. The other day when Bishop went to talking about this scripture, my spirit started leaping. And when he started talking about it, I know his message was built around something else, but the word, you ever been in a place where you figured something out and the word just became light? Ezekiel 37, starting at verse number 1, I'm going to read it from the NIV version. The hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. And he led me back and forth among them, and I saw great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. And he asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? I said, Sovereign Lord, you alone know. Then he said unto me, prophesy to these bones. And I said unto him, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter in you, and I will come, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded. And as I was prophesying, there was a noise, there was a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bones to bone. And I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me with another set of instructions, prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, son of man, because the task isn't complete. And to say it, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Come breath, but don't just tell it to come, tell it where to come from. Come from the four winds and breathe into these slain that they may live. The last verse, so I prophesied as I was commanded, and breath entered them, and they came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. I want to talk from this subject. Do me a favor, shout this at your neighbor as though they owe you some money. Say, neighbor, tonight's message is another chance. Type that in the comments. Shout it again. Another chance. You can take your seats. You can take your seats. You can take your seats. I don't know if we often realize sometimes wrestling with God is difficult. As a matter of fact, there used to be a song out that he's the God of a second chance. I kind of took out the word second chance and put in another chance. Because it's hard for me to put out he's the God of a second chance because I ran out of second chances. Okay, I'm not by myself. I tried to remember when he gave me a second chance, and I couldn't go that far back because I thought, God, you are filled with so much grace that I can't even number the opportunities you've given me at another chance. Now, some of you, I understand you were born in church, you were birthed speaking in tongues, that you've never done anything wrong. But the few of us that are in this church and that are online can stop, pause, and think. God has given us another chance. And I know we can't shout right now, we can't dance right now, because sometimes the next chance is sitting next to us. How many times have you been in a relationship and somebody has given you another chance? How many times have you given that child another chance? How many times has that child told you, this is going to be the last time, Mama, I promise, if you just give me another chance. For all the children that just got mad at me, let me talk to the adults. Have you ever thought, God, if you get me out of this, I promise you, I will never do it again. Only to find yourself caught back in the same predicament again. That's where we find ourselves in Ezekiel chapter 37. Because you can't talk about 37 without diving into chapter 36. 36 is all about God saying restoration is coming. I'm about to redeem everything you lost. I'm about to bring things back to pass. Catch this. Before we shout, you lost it, Israel, and it's your fault. See, I love talking about the grace that God gives me when it's not my fault. But what about when he says, I'm going to give you something back, and you lost it, and it was your fault? He tells Israel in 36, get ready, because things are about to turn in your favor. I won't even bother that too early. He says, here's what I'm telling you. I don't care what you lost. I don't care what the Babylonians took from you. I don't care that the temple is taken down. In 36, he says, things are turning in your favor. So wait. He says, not only is it turning in your favor, I'm going to make sure all of your enemies can get a glimpse of what I'm getting ready to do in your life. I got excited, and then he rolled me over to chapter 37. He says, now I'm going to give you a parable. I'm going to tell you a story. Ezekiel prophesied to the people. He says, and the hand of the Lord was on me. Pause. Stop, y'all. I know we've been in church long enough to know sometimes when God's hand is on you, it puts you in the middle of a mess, even though his hand is on you. I don't care what you've been dealing with, and then a bright light hits me. He says, wait a minute, son, I need you to understand, just because my hand is on you, it doesn't mean it doesn't prevent you from having to deal with the attack of the enemy. Okay. The text says, his hand is on me. And I read further, he said, no, his hand, don't leave that alone, Don. He said, his hand is on me. And I thought about the puppet master. I thought about being in control. When his hand is on you, it directs. And I kept going further. And he said, my hand is on you, but you aren't looking deep enough. I said, wait a minute, God. He said, because I'm more than a puppet master. I love criminal shows. Pray for me later. I love criminal shows. I love Chicago PD, Law and Order. Okay, I got some testimonies up in here. 48 Hours. Okay, I'm not by myself out there in the room. Okay, so I love because I always know how they want to figure it out. What's going to go on? Because in the end, I know it's going to work in the favor. I just don't know how they're going to figure it out. And then I thought about something, and I was watching it one day, and the detective came and he says, have we run the DNA yet? I said, the DNA? Wait a minute. So the DNA is left at the crime scene because it was touched. And then I want to find out, what is DNA? DNA is what's left in a place that resembles the person that just touched it. I said, wait a minute, God. He said, no, son. He said, not only did I touch you like the puppet master, he said, when I touched you, I left my DNA on you. And when I left my DNA on you, you can do everything I did because I left a part of me on you. I said, wait a minute. Then I found myself going back to school. And I did a deep dive into biology. And I found out that DNA contains the instructions needed for an organism to do three things: to develop, to survive, and to reproduce. Okay. I'm going to say it again for everybody in the back. A DNA contains the instructions that is needed for the organism to develop, to survive, and produce. Here's why you should have shouted. Because when he touched you, you were the organism that he leaves instructions that you're going to develop, you're going to survive, and you're going to produce. Wait. Okay. He said, just because I touched you, I left my DNA on you. When I left my DNA, I left instructions. My DNA says you're going to develop. That's enough to pause right there by itself, which means there are some seasons in my life where I'm undeveloped. And God says, because I touched you, I'm going to take you through a season where you don't know how you're going to come out of this, but I'm going to develop the faith up in you. There are going to be some seasons where you don't figure out, why am I dealing with all this mess? He says, wait a minute, come here, Pastor Cora, count it all joy, because I'm developing you. He says, listen, not only am my touch develop you, my touch is going to teach you how to survive. Okay, I can pause right there and have 10 minutes of church by myself, because I know somebody other than me has made it out of some things that you have no idea how you got out of that. You have no idea how God turned it in your favor. The only thing you know is you said, I believe God. I don't know how it's going to turn around, but I believe God. I don't know how it's going to work in my favor, but I believe God. And God says what the enemy meant for evil, God is turning it for, which means because of his DNA, I'm going to survive every attack, every stronghold, every breakthrough that the enemy tried to stop. He said, no, hold on. He says, not only are you going to survive, here it is, you're going to reproduce. I didn't make this up. This is biology. This is the DNA. But DNA, this blew my mind, preacher. The DNA leaves instructions, which means DNA talks. Which means when he touched you, he was talking. Woo. Which means when he says you blessed and highly favored, that means you were talking. That means that there's no devil in hell that can stop you from getting what God has, because the DNA is talking. You ever wondered why? Baby, I don't know why God has blessed me like this, because the DNA is talking. I don't know why I got the promotion, because the DNA is talking. The DNA is reproducing because it has instructions. Because in verse number 1, the Bible says his hand is on me. First of all, God does not have hands. It is anthropomorphic. It is simply a description we use to bring him down to the level to where we can understand him. So when I say his hand is on me, when I say his DNA is on me, God's DNA from heaven, from glory, really didn't come down from heaven. Well, I take that back. When he made Adam, the Bible says he blew it to him. Okay, I'm sorry. And if you blow it to somebody, the DNA that's on the inside of you, okay. So verse number 1, I'm just in verse number 1. Verse number 1 makes sense. He said the hand of the Lord was on me, but here's where I turn a corner, where his hand put me. His DNA put me in a valley. If his DNA put me in the valley, and his DNA has instructions, then his DNA said, hey, Don, where I'm going to put you, you're going to survive. Okay. This is for somebody, wherever God has you, where you are right now, baby, don't worry about the condition, worry about the DNA. Don't worry about what you've been dealing with. Worrying about God, it's your hand on me. I don't care about a valley. I don't care about a mountain. I don't care about a hell. If your hand is on me. See? Somebody shout, it's on me. Okay, you missed it. Somebody shout, it's on me. Yeah, it's on me. It's on me. It's on me. I can't explain it. It's on me. It's on me. It's on me. How do you know it's on me? Because I survived in the valley. How do you know it's on me? Because what I went through. I can't. The text says, his hand is on me. It's the DNA, but he puts me in the valley. At 36, we shouted about God's turning it. In verse number 1, we talk about his hand and his DNA. But I got a question, preachers. There is nowhere in here where Ezekiel get God's permission to take him through what he's going through. Can I stop right here and just talk to some anointed people who God didn't ask for your permission to take you through what he took you through? You said, now God, if you would have told me I was going to have to go through all of that, I would have told you find somebody else to do it. But God says your silence was agreement. Because when you said yes, you gave me all of you. So sometimes God needs you to be quiet so he can take you what he's going to take you through, even when you're uncomfortable. The text says he put him in the valley. I got a problem. He put him in the valley. I don't like being in the valley. You could have put me anywhere. I didn't ask to be here. You could have put me on the mountaintop so I could see everything. But you put me in the valley. And then I thought about it. I'm going to date myself right here. You contemporary Christians, God bless you. I'm going to go somewhere you may not be able to go. There used to be a song that said, he touched me. Oh, he touched me. Okay, that ain't for everybody right there. Oh, he touched me. And oh, what joy to my soul. Okay, let's move on. But okay, don't do that. Something happened. And now I know. He touched me. Okay. So just in case you wonder, Bill Gifter wrote that in 1963, I think it was. He touched me. Okay, see, I'm past giving me a new car. I'm past giving me a new house. Even though I want some more zeros in my bank account, I really do. I want that, Pastor Dobbins, but I'm past that. God, if I could just get you to touch me. If I can get you to touch me. Because if you touch me, you're going to do something to my soul. And I don't care how long I tarry there. If you touch me, which means your DNA is on me, it does something to my soul. See, I want to get past the superficial part of us in our Christianity as though God is Santa Claus. Give me a new house. Fine. But he's bigger than that. Give me a new car. Fine. He's bigger than that. And if the only reason you can think to give God praise is because of a house, woe unto you, baby. But for the few of us that has been in the middle of a valley and God touched me, for a few of us that have gone through hell and high water, and all we were saying was, God, whatever you do, don't take your spirit away from me. Whatever you do, touch me, God. Touch my family. Touch my mind. Touch my body. Somebody come and put touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me. Because I don't want you to let me go. I'm sorry. I'm saying, I'm not seeing that go. Touch me, God. Touch me. Just touch me. Just touch me. Don't let your hands off of me. Touch me. In the middle of the night when I don't feel like I can make it, just touch me. When I'm about to go crazy, just touch me. Just touch me. This is what I love about the text. I don't have it all together. I made some mistakes. I know you the God of grace, but just touch me. In my sinful ways, just touch me. With my jacked up mind, just touch me. In my evil ways, just touch me. Touch me. Don't lift your hands up off of me. I know you're the puppet master, but I don't want your DNA to lead me. I want that essence of your presence. So he says, listen, oh God, Ezekiel, I'm just in verse number 1. I'm sorry, y'all. Sit down. He touched me. I'm sorry I got sidetracked. He touched me. See, I don't need a lot of words, but touched me. I don't need all that other stuff. You know, he touched me. He put his hands on me. My son, when he was little, was getting ready to cross the street. I was teaching him how to cross the street. And as the mister, I was telling him to look both ways. He was running. And I grabbed him. And he started crying. He said, "Daddy, you grabbed me too hard." I said, "Son, no. I just saved your life. I'm not worrying about your cry, but I'm trying to save your life." You don't see the traffic ahead, but you crying about my grab. You crying about my touch. But if I don't touch you, there's something that's going to happen tomorrow if I don't grab you. So I don't mind you crying as long as you know my hand is on you. So instead of complaining about what he's taking you through, be thankful of what he guarded you from. And when he stopped crying, I said, "Son, here's what you don't know. If I let you go prematurely, you'll get hit. And if it kills you, that's the Father's fault. Because I would have been too concerned about you crying about my touch." And God said to somebody here, "I don't care because you're crying about my touch. I'm trying to save your life. I'm by myself, God." That's a touch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For somebody today who's feeling lonely, God said, "I may have you lonely because if you get into something prematurely, the next relationship might kill you. That's my hand on you. So don't be hungry for what I'm not ready to feed you." I want it, God. That's not my prayer anymore. I don't pray, "God, here's what I want." I pray, "God, what do you want for me?" I don't want my desires to push me out of your will. Because when your hand is on me, I only want what you want for me. Because I don't want to get anything too early. Because if I get it too early, it could kill me. And the Bible says in verse number 2, he brought me out of the spirit. He set me in the middle of the valley. He set me in the middle. Yo, I need you to understand this. Can I just be real? Somebody shout, "Be real." Yeah. God, you wrong for verse number 2. Verse number 2 says, he led me back and forth. Okay, I need to bring something to light. In verse number 1, he just sat me in the middle of it. In verse number 2, he started moving me back and forth in it. Wait, God. When you put me in a mess, I was okay. Now you're going to make me move in it? And the text says he takes me back and forth in the middle of it, which says to me, God can move in a dry place. Catch this. Not only can God move in a dry place, he can move in a dry place without changing the condition of the place.
Yes, sir.
How in the world can God move and something still stay dry? Catch this, because his hand is not on the bones. His hand is on Ezekiel. Catch this. So if Ezekiel is moving around some dead stuff, I don't know who I'm talking to today, but God said it is evident that I'm working on your behalf. That when you see everything else around you dying, but you still move. Okay. Listen. God says, I will put you in a dry place to show you I can move in a dry place without changing the dry place. Maybe you're wondering why God won't take you off the job yet. Because he's trying to show you I can move even in a dry place. God put me around stuff that's flourishing. He said, no, you missed the point. You missed the point. Baby, because my hand is on you, DNA, you can reproduce even in a dry place. Oh, I'm about to shout right there all by myself. Because God said, because my hand is on you, even in a dry place. He says, you're going to move back and forth. Yeah, I think I just answered somebody's prayers. He's not taking you out the dry place. He's showing you I can move in a dry place. Oh, that's where you get mature saints to shout right there. Because we saying, God, let everything blossom around me. No. God, even if stuff doesn't blossom around me, please let me blossom where you put me. Because I know a rose can grow through the concrete when your hand is on me. And if I'm supposed to grow in a dry place, I don't care where you put me, baby, I'm going to blossom. I don't care where you put me, I'm going to live. I don't care what hole you put me in, I'm coming up out of this. Oh, I wish I had somebody up in here that knows wherever he put me, I'm coming up out. I'm coming. Okay. I'm coming. Somebody shout, I'm coming up out of it. It doesn't matter where he put me. And then, y'all, there's this paradigm shift. He says, you put me in the valley, but then you put me with dry bones. Okay. God is not short of words. If he used the word, it's there for a reason. Because I know I'm in bones. But in verse number 2, he said, put me with dry bones. Catch this. The only way Ezekiel would know they're dry bones is if he had the opportunity to touch them. So he had the ability to feel that the moisture and the bone marrow was gone. Catch this, which means dry bones, which means they cannot be used again. God, you had me moving in a season where it seems like everything is unusable. You put me in the middle of unusable people. You put me in the middle of an unusable neighborhood. You put me in the middle of an unusable dream? Why would you do that? Verse number 3, he says, son of man, can these bones live? Okay, y'all, I got a question. Why does God present all the evidence and then ask you, based off what you saw, can it change? God could have said, Ezekiel, I'm going to put you in the middle of what's going to live. No. He puts him in a valley, in the middle, dry places, let him touch it, and then ask it, can it change? He asked a question that me, this is exegetical at best. Exegetical is me having an idea of what I believe. He said, can these bones live? Ezekiel says, only you know, Lord, which is the right answer. But I think he misunderstood the question. This is exegetical, an idea. I believe God was asking him, do you think these bones can live through you? Because Ezekiel knows, God, you can change anything. Why are you asking me if you can make anything happen when you're the God of impossible? I believe God was asking him, Ezekiel, I put you here. You think you can change this situation? A message announcement for somebody. Sometimes God will put you in a place and ask you a question, and it's not about his power, it's about your faith. Are you willing and obedient enough to believe I can change it in your favor? Are you crazy enough to think I can turn that thing around? I know you touched it. I know you moved in it. I know you're uncomfortable in it. But do you believe I am the God of the resurrection? Do you believe I am the God that will turn it in your favor? Do you believe? So let me give you some understanding. So this is where it takes the shift, y'all. This is the pivot. There's a word called monogenism. Monogenism, mono, one. It is saying that there is one person that can affect the atmosphere. That's what God does. That's what, when Jesus comes, no one can down the cross but Jesus. He does it by himself. Monogenism. And then there's one that's called synergism. Synergism is when it requires somebody else to participate in the outcome of what's getting ready to come. Is it possible? God is saying, if it was me, I can do it by myself. But for this next miracle, I'm going to need you to participate with me about what I'm getting ready to do in your life. In other words, catch this, I'm saying prophesy. Wait. And he doesn't do it in a statement form. He does it through a question. Listen, I'm the type of guy, God, just tell me what to do. Go left, I'm going left. Go right, I'm going right. Don't come and ask me, do you want to go left? I don't know. Should I go left? Do you want to go right? What's right if I go right? Catch this. But I believe that God asking the question is the birthing place of a new journey. It's something about when you ask a question. When you ask the right question to the right God in the right scenario. Wait a minute. Why sit we here till we die? It's the question. If I could but touch the hem of his garment, it's a question. So probably the question is meant to provoke you to say God is getting ready to do something greater if I participate. Somebody shout, it requires me. Okay, you missed. Somebody shout, it requires me. Oh, I hope you hear what I'm saying. Oh, no, it requires you. So we shouted, his hand is on me. We said, he's saying, I need you. Now he's saying, listen, here's what I need you to do. I need you to figure out what's next. Can these bones live? Don't tell me what you've been through. Don't tell me what you touched. I need to see the reflection of my DNA. Do you know whose hand is on you? Do you know who has touched you? He says, only you know, God. He says, then do this. Prophesy. Prophesy to the bones. I got a problem with that. You want me to say something to something that won't talk back to me. You want me to talk to a situation that won't talk back to me. You want me to engage in a conversation where there's evidence that it's over. You want me to believe you enough to say something to a child that everybody has given up on. Okay, I'm about to shout right here. Because you're listening to a man. 30 years ago, you would have rejected me. You're listening to a man. If I had time to tell you all of my testimony, that you will say, there is a God. But one day, when I sat on that side of the bed crying, and I said, God, what do you want from me? I'm tired of going through the same thing over and over, over and over, over and over. Want to commit suicide over and over. What do you want from me? I'm tired of running. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of not being able to make it. What do you want from me? He said, let me ask you a question, Don. Where I'm taking you, can the bones live? This was over 30 years ago. I had no idea what that meant. But I said, I don't know if they can live, but if you use me, I'll do whatever it takes to make them live. If you put me wherever I need to be, I'll do whatever you do, whatever you need me to do to make them live. In verse number 4, he said, okay, here's what I want you to do. Prophesy to the bones. But I got a problem. I have a problem. Because he said prophesy to the bones. He put me in the middle of a valley of dry places. I need to draw a bigger picture for y'all. Because the text says there's bones. Somebody shout, draw a picture. Nowhere from verse 1 to verse 9 does God say the bones going to be an army. We have the benefit of knowing it's going to become an army. But verses 1 through 8, he tells him to talk through and talk to what he doesn't know what it's going to become. Ezekiel has no idea he's talking to an army. Only thing he knows is I'm talking to some bones. I don't know what you're supposed to be, and I'm talking to somebody today. God says you're too busy trying to make it become, but baby, you better talk to it now and worry about what it becomes later. He said talk to it, build it, because I'm a builder. Okay. Because I gotta draw the picture. Somebody should draw the picture. At the end of the verse says they're an army. And you have the benefit of knowing that. But the text says it's dry bones. And I found out, what does it take to make an army? How many people does it take to make an army? Because 100 people don't make an army. 300 people don't make an army. 900 people don't make an army. The truth be told, the number that they gave me, that it takes at least 24,300 people, men, to make an army. Hold on. Wait a minute. 24,300 makes an army. This is an army. Hold on. Pause. Somebody shout pause. In your body, you have at least 206 bones. So you have 24,300 men that have died with 206 bones, which means God puts Ezekiel in the middle over 5 million bones. Okay. Can you imagine standing in the middle? Let me give you the exact number. 5,800 bones. He is standing in the middle of. I need to draw you the picture of what Ezekiel is looking at. Most of you think he's looking at 10 bones. He is in the middle of 5 million bones. And I'm talking to somebody today who's in the middle of 5 million problems, trying to figure out, how am I going to get out of this mess? Yeah. He has to talk to 5 million bones. Watch this. And all he said was, this is what God says. Here's why I want to run and shout. Here's why we should have ran and shout. Because he's talking to 5 million bones. Over fire, and he doesn't tell them where to go. The bones know where they need to get to. Stop, pause, y'all, which means you're missing God when you're trying to tell him where it fits. He said, I didn't tell you to try to make it fit. I told you just talk to it. I told you to come together. This is when I started shouting, Pastor. Then I started shouting, because the Bible says, then there was a sound. And most of us are shouting because of the sound. It said it sounded like rattling bones. And that sounds real good. But somebody today, you have let the noise stop you. You have confused the sound of distraction versus the sound of movement. God said the sound that you hear right now is not meant to distract you. It is an indication that I am moving things in your favor. I want to talk to somebody today who just hears something. I don't know, it's like I hear the sound of the abundance of rain. I can't see it, I can't make it out, but the only thing I know is, baby, I hear something. He says, I hear it. And I would have shouted, because the text said the bones came together. And I thought, that was it. I feel you. Until I read a little further, the text said the bones came together, and then the tendons and the skin started coming. Hold on, y'all. Wait. I know where the bones come from. I know where the bones come from. It's evidence where the bones come from. But somebody got to tell me, where does the skin come from? Where does the tendon come from? And I asked God, where did it come from? Did it magically show up? He said, I'm so glad you asked me that. He said, watch this. Do you remember in Genesis? When I made man by scooping down in the sand, in the valley, so the bones can't die in the mountain because the skin isn't made in the mountain. It came from the ground. And this is another resurrection. He's saying it's just returning back to its rightful. Okay. Somebody better hit me. But now, some of you going to get mad at me right here. Stay with me because they might get really mad at me. The Bible says the bones come together, then the skin comes, but nothing happens. And God told me this. He said, because the problem is people want their outside done first before the inside is fixed. You trying to fix your skin, and I'm trying to fix your mind. Because I don't care how much I try to bless you if your mind doesn't have the infrastructure to hold what I'm trying to give you, you're going to lose your mind. Maybe God won't give it to you yet because all your bones haven't come together. He says, I'm not going to make the body until the infrastructure is right. I'm not going to move you to the next level until the infrastructure is right. Oh, somebody shout, don't move me, God. I don't want what he has for me until I'm prepared for it. And it was when I saw this scripture another way. He said, son, I am blessing the children in the phases. He says, I'm trying to teach you how to build something. You're too busy worried about the outside. I'm trying to make sure your insides. You know your insides aren't right. And God's getting ready to bless you. And you got to show it off.
Come on, sir. Come on, sir.
Oh, yeah, you got real quiet. So I need to hover that just a little bit longer. You waiting for God to bless you so you can ride by the house, roll down the window, and say, look what the Lord had done. Your bones still rattling. If you need God to bless you so you can go short off to your enemies, your bones still rattling. But there's a few of us that's in here. I don't care if my haters see it, don't see it, will see it. I could care less. God, whenever you give it to me, I'm going to keep on driving. If they see me, oh well. If they don't see me, oh well. Because this, the Lord has. I got to read you something. The Lord make sure I wrote this down because I got to give it to you. We are making a mistake. He says his action is driven by his love, not our understanding. Okay. I want to make sure I wrote that down because when he told me that, it hit me. He says, we're waiting for understanding. God says you need to obey me and let your understanding catch up later. I have no idea why he told Ezekiel, let them bones, I have no idea. But only thing I know, understanding, you catch up later. Because what I need right now is I need to hear from God. But stop. Then he says, but it's still incomplete. We got bones. We got skin. We got bone marrow. But we don't have movement. He says, now you're going to do something unique. Don't talk to the obstacle anymore. Talk to the wind. Catch this. Talk to the source. Talk to the source of where the wind comes from. He says, prophesy, but tell it to come from the north, the south, the east, and the west. And I asked him the question, why do I prophesy to the wind? What is the purpose? And then I looked at biology again, and I found this out when it comes to CPR. Whenever there's performing CPR, if your lungs aren't expanding, there is a technique that they say that they have to blow in you to get your lungs to expand. Catch this, which means you're not getting everything you need. But the more I blow in you, the more you have a better chance of living. And then I went even further with CPR. They're called compressions. Now y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but when you compress down, before you get to the lungs, you gotta break a rib. Which means before I can get to something, I gotta break something. So my question to you tonight is, do you want to be broken or do you want to live? Because you cannot live without being broken. Come. There's a season that I thought about in this text that became so true. He says, watch this. Can these bones live? He says, and they stood up and they became an army. They stood. No one gave them instructions to stand. No one said, get up. For whatever reason, they knew, I don't belong here anymore. Come here. I don't belong in this dirt anymore. I have gone through so much hell. I've heard him breathe in me. And he says, now I'm just going to stand up. And I want to talk to somebody today who is believing God. See, most of y'all probably thought I was talking to you as Ezekiel. I'm talking to the bones. All of us want to be Ezekiel, but nobody want to be the bones. Because you know why? Bones have trauma attached to them. Bones have grieving attached to them. And this one is not to make you shout. This one is to make you think. Have I been laying here too long? I'm not talking about your secret life. I'm talking about that mindset. Have you been laying in that bad mindset for too long? You should have opened the business by now. You should have wrote the book by now. You should have gone back to school by now. But because you're laying in the valley, and the text says, and I hope somebody gets this, Ezekiel never tell him to stand up. He just said live. And today, I tell you, God gave you another chance to live. See, Pastor, here's the problem. I don't know how to get up when I've been laying here for so long. I've been in this rut for so long. I've been in this house for so long. I've been in this bad predicament. I don't know how to get up. Do me a favor. Everybody in your row ain't got to stand up. But somebody, at least one person on every row, stand up. So I got silent for a reason. And you can do this at your home too. I have nothing, and I'm going to bother y'all. I have nothing against the people who stay seated. Nothing. But sometimes I'm standing up because I see somebody modeled around me standing up. Pastor, I know you said everybody ain't got to stand up, but sometimes I ain't got to understand the instructions. Because my neighbor stood up, I think I need to stand up. I'm looking at rows where everybody's standing. I just said at least one. Catch this. Now I'm looking at an army of people that is I can't. You're going to make me cry. Because I'm so he says, the people that are standing and seated, let me throw that in there. It was the example to show that you don't have to stand by yourself. And I only asked for one person to stand on the roll, only to find out that others would stand, because if one stand on the roll, it wouldn't have looked like the multitude was standing. But because somebody on the roll took the initiative to say, I'm going to be the one to stand, and I say this to everybody in here and that's watching online, sometimes you got to stand for your family. So right now, I'm not standing for me. I'm standing for my grandchildren. I'm standing for my great-great-grandchildren. I'm standing for the children that's in my bloodline that I haven't even met yet. This is what I love about it. And I said I was going to do my best not to shout tonight, but here's what I love about it, is that every bone, every dry bone had a family attached to it somewhere. Every person in that military had family attached to them somewhere. And the problem is this. What do we do? Thank you, sir. What do we do when our family don't know that we're the one that's standing in the gap for them?